Hello and welcome to the Beardicus Show. My name is Beardicus, and today, in honor of the upcoming Mario Tennis Aces, I wanted to talk about the most recent entry in the Mario Tennis series, which was Mario Tennis Ultra Smash for the Wii U. Now, if you've never played this game, you've probably at least heard some, mostly negative things about it, such as a lack of content. And that's largely why I wanted to talk about it. So with that in mind, let's jump right into it. There are 4 modes in this game: Classic Tennis, Mega Battle, Mega Ball Rally, and Knockout Challenge. I guess the best place to start would be Classic Tennis. Classic Tennis is divided into 2 rule sets: Standard and Simple. There's not much to say about Simple. It's exactly what it sounds like, a simple game of tennis. Standard, however, adds in the chance shots that originated in Mario Tennis Open for the 3DS. If you stand on one of these circles and press a specific button, you'll hit the ball really hard, and it'll give you an advantage to the point where if you don't win the volley here, you'll probably at least knock your opponent off balance enough to win on the next hit. If nothing else, you'll probably at least get another chance shot, and then you can just chain together ridiculous chance shot combos while your opponent desperately tries to delay the inevitable. And that's how you know that this is a good mechanic, because it basically instantly wins the point for you. If you ask me, every sports game should have a feature like this, because, what's the alternative? A long drawn-out battle of skill? No thank you. Speaking of instantly winning, the next mode I'd like to talk about has a similar instant win mechanic in addition to the chance shots. That's right, I'm talking about the new Mega Battle mode, which is essentially standard classic tennis, except now Toads will occasionally throw Mega Mushrooms to you, which, as you may expect, makes you gigantic and super strong. Or I guess I should say mega strong. What really makes this mode interesting is how the Mega Mushrooms work. Since they're so powerful, if your opponent has one and you don't, there's very little you can do to stop them from just steamrolling you. That is, unless you save your Mega Mushroom to counter your opponent's Mega Mushroom. Because once you're both gigantic, it's really just a matter of hitting the ball back and forth until the Mega Mushrooms wear off, at which point it's time to go back to regular tennis. Because of this very reason, I believe that this mode is where this game really shines. And I'm fairly certain the main reason that a lot of people don't like this game is simply because they don't really understand the point of this mode. You see, it's easy to think that saving a Mega Mushroom to use defensively defeats the purpose of the power-up, because then you and your opponent are stuck in a stalemate and it's no fun. But that's the thing. The Mega Mushrooms aren't supposed to be fun. They're a metaphor for politics. The Mega Mushrooms represent how political opponents will often use all of their resources simply to beat the other side or sides, never considering that using all of their resources now may put them in a detrimental situation later. Or they could use their resources in response to the first side, in which case both sides end up in a stalemate and no progress is made whatsoever. Going into this mode, I certainly didn't expect Nintendo to get this political, but I'm kind of impressed that they did. It takes guts to put this kind of a message in a Mario game of all things, so just from that decision alone, I kind of have to respect the game. Even if this decision did create a mode that's more annoying than it is fun. And while that's about all I have to say about Mega Battles, there is another mode in this game with Mega in the name. Although, since I already named all the modes, I guess you probably already knew that. Anyway, the next mode I want to talk about is the Mega Ball Rally. If you've ever played a Mario Tennis game before, you might be familiar with the game's side modes. For example, the recurring ring shot and item modes, which both change the game on a fundamental level. You were no longer just hitting a ball back and forth. Now there were other things you had to pay attention to, and Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube added several other mini-games that completely changed the game as well, to the point where you're basically not even playing tennis anymore. Well, Mega Ball Rally is this game's side mode. Here, you and an opponent are knocking a giant Mega Ball back and forth for as long as you can. The ball starts out really big and slow, and then it gradually gets smaller and faster until it's basically a normal game of tennis. And this is how side modes should work, not like those other modes. It's easy to take something and completely change it so that it's new and interesting, but true genius is taking the core concept of a game and tweaking it slightly so that it's basically the same, but somehow worse. Now that is true innovation. And finally, if you've played a previous Mario Tennis game, you might be familiar with the star characters. But just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, basically in the old days, you would play through a tournament mode, and when you finished you would unlock the star version, or a stronger version, of whichever character you were playing as. Okay, I know what you're thinking. What, I gotta play through a tournament with every character? That's too much work, I'm not doing that. In fact, I'm not even gonna play this game. You know what, I'm just gonna stop playing video games altogether. I'm gonna get a job and actually do something with my life. Well, okay, that last part may have been a bit more specific to me, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. Either way, you have nothing to worry about because Nintendo planned for this by removing tournament mode. That's right, the main single-player mode that's been in the series since the N64 almost 20 years ago has been removed, and its replacement is the new Knockout Challenge mode. Knockout Challenge pits you up against a series of computer opponents, and you have to win as many one-on-one matches as you can. So in a way it's like tournament mode, but without the structure or the fun little cutscenes that acted as rewards for winning. And since this mode technically goes on forever and you can't really beat it, your goal is simply to win 15 matches in a row, and then you unlock your current character's star form. 15 wins in a row may sound difficult, but it's really not. Because if you ever lose, you can just pay a few coins to retry without resetting your win count. And 800 coins is pocket change in the long run. You basically earn that many coins by playing a single match of one set of 2 games. And that's the shortest exhibition match you can play, so it's really not hard to make a lot of money really quickly. Okay, well, that's fine, but what if you're like me and you don't like spending coins? Well, in that case, I would recommend that you not lose. Well, okay, maybe you haven't been playing Mario Tennis your whole life, so you don't have the skill to simply not lose. What are you to do then? Well, the answer is simple. Scan an Amiibo. If you scan a compatible Amiibo in this mode, that Amiibo will join your team, changing these matches from 1-on-1 to 2-on-1. In other words, cheating. I don't know if you're familiar with the rules of tennis, but there's a reason 2-on-1 isn't a thing, because it's pretty hard to lose at this point. But maybe you don't have a compatible Amiibo, and even with retries you're having trouble beating 15 matches in a row. Are you doomed to leave this game incomplete forever? No, obviously not. I mean, if you just keep retrying, then eventually you're gonna win, even if it's by accident. So let me rephrase that. Are you doomed to leave this game incomplete in the foreseeable future? Nope. You can actually just pay for every unlockable in this game. That way you can bypass all of that troublesome gameplay. I mean, why should you have to go through the trouble of actually getting good at this game to unlock stuff? Practice is for chumps. Just slip the challenge board a few coins and it'll just pretend that you did whatever it was you were supposed to do. Not that you should really need to do that, considering more than half of the challenges in this game are to just beat X number of battles in Knockout, which is just a formality, especially with an Amiibo, and the rest of the challenges are just play this mode X times, or play on every court, because why should the challenges in this game be fun little challenges when they could instead be stupid little things that remind us that everybody's a winner. After all, this is just a game, and the point of a game is to have fun, right? And everyone should be able to enjoy every aspect of this game, regardless of skill. And if the only way to unlock content was to be good at the game, then some people wouldn't be able to enjoy that content. Okay, yes. What content? Very funny. Okay, yes, it's true. this game may be a little light on content compared to some of the slightly older Mario Tennis games, like the one on the 64. But that's not necessarily a problem. Sometimes quality can be just as, if not more, important than quantity. So sure, the roster is the same size as it was on the Nintendo 64. Well, not counting the characters that you could transfer from the Game Boy game. But that's okay, because the characters that were cut were the filler characters that nobody's going to miss. Like Petey Piranha, or Wiggler, or this, Birdoo character? See, I don't even know her name. Whereas in this game, we got these Sprixie Princess, everybody's favorite character. But there's more content to these games than just the character roster. There are also the courts. And while some people might complain that it's kind of boring that every court in this game takes place in this generic stadium, and that they only differentiate between the courts to the minimum degree necessary, but I think those people are missing the point. There are 8 different courts in this game, plus an extra one that shifts between them throughout the match, meaning that there are actually 9 courts in this game. That's the most there's ever been in a Mario Tennis game. Okay, technically, both Mario Power Tennis and Mario Tennis 64 had more courts than Ultra Smash. But 7 out of the 10 courts in Mario Power Tennis were gimmick courts. In other words, you couldn't play them if you just wanted to play a normal match of tennis. Well, I mean, sure, you could turn off the gimmicks, but then what's the point of playing on those courts? At that point, you might as well play on one of the normal courts. So, for all intents and purposes, Mario Power Tennis only had 3 courts. And as for the Nintendo 64 version, well, there are technically 19 courts in that game. The open court and the Bowser stage are only available in side modes, so they don't really count. Meanwhile, several courts have repeated stats. For example, the Mario Bros. Court has fast speed and weak bounce, which is exactly the same as the grass court. Heck, the Peach Court and the Piranha Court are both identical to the open court. So, there's really no reason to count either of them either. When all is said and done, 5 courts are rendered obsolete by other courts. These courts being the Mario Bros. Court, the Super Mario Court, the Piranha Court, the Peach Court, and the Wario Court. Also, if you're wondering about this, it's nothing to worry about. I nicked myself shaving earlier. Believe it or not, that's true. And finally, there are 6 courts that can only be unlocked by connecting the Game Boy Color Mario Tennis game to the Nintendo 64, which obviously disqualifies these courts from being counted. And these courts are the Super Mario Court, the Peach Court, the Yoshi Court, the Wario Court, the Waluigi Court, and the Bowser Court. And court definitely does not sound like a word anymore to me. So let's see, that's 2, 7, 13. 13 out of 19 courts in this game don't really count. In other words, Mario Tennis 64 basically only has the 6 courts. Ergo, once you take out all the filler content from the older Mario Tennis games, it turns out that Mario Tennis Ultra Smash has the most Mario Tennis Ultra Smash has the most No, I'm not doing it. I'm not saying that. I don't care if it is April Fool's Day. I'm not going to say that. This was a full-priced game that had less content than Mario Tennis 64. I mean, they don't even have an opening in this game. You know how Mario Power Tennis had that elaborate cutscene that followed the antics of Wario and Waluigi as they tried to cheat their way back into a tournament? Yeah, this game doesn't have that. This game doesn't even have an opening like Mario Tennis 64, which was basically just this little video to introduce all the characters that I could have made. This game doesn't even have an attract mode. You know, those things where you leave the game on the title screen too long and it starts showing off different parts of the game? Yeah, this game doesn't do that, because the developers knew that there was nothing to show off. This game is a $50 demo for an early build of Mario Tennis Aces from before they added any of the cool stuff that makes that game look interesting. My name is Beardicus, and this has been the Beardicus Show. Thanks for watching. Okay, truth be told, I don't actually think this game is all that underrated. In fact, I think its reputation for being a shallow cash grab is kind of well deserved. Which is too bad, because what is here is fun for like 10 minutes. But there is one thing about this game that I think is even worse than the lack of content. And that is the fact that, assuming Camelot continues to release Mario Golf games alongside Mario Tennis games, there will always be one extra Mario Tennis game because of this half game. Oh well, at least Aces looks really promising. Oh hey, I just realized I mentioned Mario Tennis Aces 3 times now. Guess who gets to put that game in the tags for this video? Oh, probably shouldn't have said that out loud. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and leave me a comment below, because if big successful YouTubers can beg for subscriptions, then so can I. Stay tuned for next time, where hopefully I'll be talking about something positive for a change.